In this task, we'll organize the data layers in the table of contents, set the coordinate reference system for the map, and change the layer names. Here I've already added the 5 layers to QGIS Desktop. However, all I can see are data for Canada, Mexico, and the Western states. Where are the sage-grouse and land ownership layers? When you can't see a data set, one approach is to make sure the spatial extent of your map window covers that data set. To try and figure this out, I'll right-click on the sage-grouse data and choose Zoom to Extent. Now I'm zoomed into the western US, but I still can't see anything that looks like habitat data. The data layers in the table of contents are drawn in the order they appear. So the layer that is on top of the list in the table of contents will be drawn on top of the other layers in the map view. Notice that the Western States layer is now in that top position. This means that Western States is covering up the sage-grouse current distribution data and the land ownership data. To rectify this, I'll select the land ownership and drag it to the top position. Voila, there's the land ownership data. Now let's grab sage-grouse data and drag that above land ownership. And now we can see the elusive sage-grouse data. Typically, data layers will be organized with point data layers on top of line layers on top of polygon layers. Raster data layers are usually placed near the bottom. Now the data layers are in the correct position. Next, I'll set the coordinate system for the map. Note that the lower right-hand corner of QGIS now reads EPSG 4269. 4269 is the EPSG code for the geographic coordinate system, which makes the lower 48 look stretched out and distorted. I'll want to change the CRS of the map to something that will make the geography look correct. First, I'll open the project properties and make sure that Enable on-the-fly CRS transformation is checked. To do that, I'll go to Project, Project Properties, get onto the CRS tab, and make sure that it's checked, which it is. So I will click OK. So let's examine the CRS of our data layers. To do this, I can double-click on each layer and open the layer properties. So I'll start with Canada, go to the General tab, and I see that it's one of these layers in 4269, Geographic. Mexico also is in 4269. Western States, same coordinate system. Land ownership. Land ownership is in a Conus-Albers projection. And finally, let's look at sage-grouse, also in the same Conus-Albers projection. I'd like the map to be in that Albers CRS. So to accomplish that, I'll simply right-click on the sage-grouse habitat data and choose Set Project CRS from Layer. Note that now the map reads EPSG 5070. Since Canada, Mexico, and the Western States are in the geographic coordinate system, they are now being reprojected on the fly into the Albers projection of land ownership and sage-grouse. And you'll note that the Western United States now looks like we're used to seeing it. Finally, I need to change the layer names. By default, data layers have the same name as the shapefile. However, these names will appear in the legend, so I need to change these to proper names that my map reading audience will understand. To demonstrate this, I'll go into the layer properties and change the name for sage-grouse. So double-click on the sage-grouse layer. The layer name is up here, and I can simply change it to sage-grouse habitat. And click OK. You'll change the other layers in the same way. In the next task, you'll learn how to style the layers and begin to craft a well-designed map.